live.
Yes,
How y'all
sir.
feeling?
Good, man. Good.
Awesome. What it do, snackers? Snack that. Your boy Gage here. Got some really, really great folks. One named Jokes.
Hey.
Another great folk named Sin.
That's
And you are officially tuned in to Cutscenes, where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in video game. Because cutscenes are
the best
the
part,
best
of
part
the
of the
game.
game.
How do you know? How do you know?
It's been proven throughout
Yeah,
time.
I mean, we don't skip
Has
them.
it?
We sit and watch them.
It's just facts. Is that what you're telling me?
It's just facts.
It's just facts.
It's a book of facts.
There's no two ways around it. That has to be what it is. All right. I'm down. Give me a second. I gotta fix something.
Go ahead and fix
Excellent.
it.
Yeah. So there's a lot to discuss. Here's where I want to start. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Let's go.
Well, before you say such a thing, I know y'all both saw the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Sir?
I'm hoping folks in the chat saw the trailer. I feel like my hood should be up.
Just got
Doesn't
that
that seem more
feeling.
proper?
There you go.
Just got
This
that
like
itch.
this right here, this rounded triangle right here feels more Jedi to me.
Okay.
And so,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? Spidey got his hood up. I don't know. It just felt
No, it looks right. It looks better that way. You good?
more right. Yeah, hopefully everybody in the chat had a chance to see the trailer for Legendary Edition. I retweeted Jennifer Hale, who plays Femship, literally posted on Twitter video of herself like ugly crying at the sight of Femship being on the cover,
Mm-hmm.
and it meaning like the absolute world to her that it's such a thing.
That's dope.
Thanks, Leah. I'll take Jedi-esque. You know what I mean? You know, because again, Jedis aren't really cool anymore, and so Jedi-esque is all right.
It's up to us to bring it back. We can do that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
We can do that.
bro, couldn't we though?
We can do that easily.
You don't know anything about video games past 1996. It's funny you should say that because we're gonna talk about video games from 1996 today. We are definitely doing that because I don't know if y'all heard or saw, but boy, that GoldenEye remake that was supposed to hit the Xbox 360, that whole thing leaked online this week. Hey, Ty.
Here we go.
What happened, Ty? Why is this a thing every week?
We're only 3 minutes in.
We haven't. You know what, Ty? Who's the coolest Jedi, Ty? Just throw it out there for me. I'm willing to listen. So, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which is BioWare remastering, not remaking, the first 3 Mass Effect games. And this is something that should have been out already. But after doing the work they did on Mass Effect 2 and 3 and kind of only up-resing Mass Effect 1, they realized Mass Effect 1 looked like garbage. and it needed more. All right, hold on a second. Marcus, I asked Ty who the coolest Jedi is. Mace Windu has not been... Nobody has cared about Mace Windu since 2002.
And would you call Mace cool?
So here's the thing. The only reason why Mace Windu is cool is because of the animated shorts. That's it.
And the purple lightsaber.
Lightsaber.
Because he's the only one with it.
Yeah. But yes, and here's the thing. He does next to zero work with that joint.
True.
And in the animated joint, never uses it. All hands. All hands, bro.
I haven't seen that show in so long. I need to watch
and
that.
that's part of why. Hey, listen, don't start throwing Mace Windu out for Black History Month, dog. I'll take Sam Jackson. But the history of Mace Windu,
not so much.
It's a little suspect. See, purple lightsaber's cool. Mace,
Nah.
chopping
Yeah.
Boba's head off was clean. But again, he chopped the head off. First of all, it wasn't Boba.
It was
Boba
Django.
Daddy.
It was
It was
Django.
Django.
Yeah.
And second of all, Boba Fett proved to not be cool until this year. Well, the end of last year. So, let's stop this. Hey, Ty, I'm just waiting for you to tell me.
You still haven't said a cool Jedi.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. Don't misunderstand. I love Jedi. And we're going to be talking about KOTOR today as well. I love Jedi. They just not cool. And haven't been for a long time. We'll see what happens. What it do, snackers and snackers? Did you like what you... All 3 games remastered in one package. $60.
Did he just pull us in? He just try to pull us in.
I'm happy you can admit to that.
Listen, cool in your head versus like cool in film and in front of the major public, not the same thing. If you got to dig through tons of novels to find the cool, old novels that mostly ain't even canon anymore, you fooling yourself. Fooling yourself. But I digress. They working on it, and they getting ready to make them cool again. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. But I don't know, bruh. The Jedi Order is cool. I would wager most people would say that the Sith are cooler than the Jedi.
I can agree with that.
I can agree with that.
And you start naming them one for one.
I think the last time the Jedis were cool was Obi-Wan and Anakin in Clone Wars.
That's what I'm saying. It's been 20 years, bro.
Yeah.
Sith, on the other hand,
Like
everything
Rey isn't really cool. She don't know nothing and can't do nothing yet. You know what I'm saying? And her ascension was fluke. Call it what you want. She's pretty though, but her ascension was fluke. That's where I'm at. So, Mass Effect.
Right.
What do y'all think? Are we excited? Are we pre-ordering?
I'm saying yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That trailer gave me all the goosebumps all over again.
Yeah, and I'm really happy to finally be able to go back
Jimmy, don't mess this up, Jimmy.
and be able to actually
I
go
want to
back
keep
and
you around for a
play,
while.
and play one, and it actually be pretty smooth to actually play. Because when I first played I played Mass Effect 2 first. I didn't play the first one, so
Because you were too young.
no, it wasn't too young. I wasn't into Mass Effect. But then the second one, I don't know, whatever.
Got it. You didn't know better. I got it. That's fair.
Play the second one, play the third one. But because of all the decision making and being able to transition between each game, I was like, yo, I gotta go back and play. I want to go back and play one, so I can actually make these decisions and play it the whole way through on there. So I went back and played one.
Jimmy, please feel better. That is
Yeah,
terrible
serious.
and painful.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you for hanging out with us. You know, if I have to kick you out, try not to take it personally today. Let me just say that.
But
and Ty,
you never played a Mass Effect.
You need to correct that in your life.
You never played a Mass Effect?
yeah, you gotta fix that.
I don't know how you missed out on that.
Have you played Knights of the Old Republic? That's what I need to know, Ty. Have you played Knights of the Old Republic? Matter of fact, jokes, have you played Knights of the Old?
I played it, yeah. I didn't get heavy into it, but yeah, I did play it though.
Okay. 10?
I
You're all
couldn't
in.
play- Oh yeah, I'm all in. I'm upset that multiplayer isn't there, but I'm all in.
You know I was gonna get to it.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I mean,
Yeah.
here's the deal. So I read into what it is they said. Yeah, Knights of the Old Republic on the OG Xbox. Yes, it was an exclusive, so that's where you would have had to play it. As was the original Mass Effect, which is why a lot of people did not get a chance to play it. Because even when they finally released 2 and 3 on PlayStation, 1 for a long time remained still an exclusive. And what they did was they released like this comic
Yeah.
that you kind of read through in the beginning of the game. It was like a separate downloadable piece, and it was like an interactive comic. You made decisions in the comic that were the same as the decisions you made playing through the whole game, and that's what pushed you forward. All right, Ty, so you played Knights of the Old Republic. So really, if you played Knights of the Old Republic, this was the same pedigree, same team that did Knights of the Old Republic made Mass Effect. Man, listen. All right, so here's the thing. Let me say this right now. To anybody who has not played Mass Effect, any of them, I think for $60 to get all three of these games, these games are straight up video game history. Like, they are some of the most important Western RPGs ever made. And is really one of the first times that, like, a space RPG Western was done that wasn't that was great and sold really well and wasn't already somebody else's IP, like Knights of the Old Republic was.
Right. And it's really good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And it again, as a trilogy, this is also one of the only games ever made throughout history that was designed to be a trilogy and actually succeeded in being a trilogy. Right. Had all three parts come out, and the actual decisions that you made playing through the first game had an effect on your playthrough in the second game, right? Which, again, was another thing that was incredible because you had to be able to move your save. Like, you're talking about taking a save and what you played, with the first game and be able to port that into the second game and then do that again from your playthrough in the second game and then move that to the third game. And the decisions that you actually made did have an effect on things in those future games. Mass Effect 1 is much more RPG heavy. It's less action RPG. And they've updated some of that, but still it's going to be that. Get out of the comments. Oh man, kidney stones hater and all. Yeah, so I would personally, again, for $60, I recommend it.
Definitely, that's a day one.
Couple of disappointments. One, no multiplayer, which Mass Effect 3 multiplayer was fire.
100%. We kind of lived in that thing for a while.
Yeah, and the way this works, it's kind of like a hub, just like Master Chief Collection is. So, like, you buy it, you basically have a menu that lets you play each individual game. If you play through Mass Effect 1, when that's over, you go back to the menu. It's not like you go straight through into 2 or whatever. It's coming out relatively soon. I mean, May 14th is soon. And again, that's really more because they knew they had stuff they needed to update. Full 4K, 60 frames a second, great overhaul to the graphics and so forth. So I'm all about that. There is no specific version for the PS5, Xbox Series S and X. So outside of being able to take advantage of the faster load times because of the SSD, there won't really be anything there. I'm with you, Jimmy. Mass Effect 1 top 5 all time. I'm with you. I cannot argue that. One thing, listen, and let me tell you something. If you have an opportunity, a way, a chance, the ability to go back and play Jade Empire, same team, so good.
Yeah, that was another classic joint.
Purple is a horrible color. What happened?
Where's the disrespect coming from?
No, they don't do that. Single
that hurt, didn't it?
Yeah, like, wow, really? That's how you feel? Okay.
So I think it's important to note again, no multiplayer. Pinnacle Station, which was a very important DLC from the first Mass Effect, is not in this game. It was all the rest of them. There's like 40 DLCs that are included in this. All of the rest of the DLCs are there. Pinnacle Station was also not in the PlayStation version when they redid Mass Effect 1. It was also not there. And the reason is because it's a reference to the lightsaber. I get it.
Okay.
That's cool. Purple's your favorite color. What's up, Brooks? So what happened is they actually lost the code.
Yeah,
for the original DLC.
Right.
So there's nothing they could do.
That's crazy.
That's just terrible.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah, like,
you would think you got that stored on something.
Well, it's not. No, well, actually, the code was corrupted. They had it, but the data was corrupted. So was just unfortunately nothing they could do.
You would think
It
they
is.
would have had like a backup for the backup of the backup or
Something.
something like that.
Something.
You know, I mean, again, that's one of those things that unfortunately does tend to happen. It's one of the reasons why there's actually such a push for people to be able to use ROMs and stuff like that. Not just, you know what I mean, for people to be able to make backups of like games that they own, but also for preservation. Because in the same way, if there isn't somebody going back and preserving like old films, old movies, they're gonna get lost. You know what I mean? At times. So it's the same thing. Oh man.
All right, Jimmy.
Hey, listen, I want you to say that while you push those stones.
We're gonna be able to hear it from here.
Yeah. So Mass Effect Legendary it is. Listen, I'm all in. I'm actually ready to go back and play again, and it already has us hyped.
You know what? I got a question for both of y'all about the remaster. When y'all go back through it, are y'all gonna play it the same way for nostalgia purposes?
Yes.
Or are you gonna try to switch everything up?
Nope.
I'm doing it both
I'm
ways.
gonna play it just like I did.
I'm gonna play it both ways. Like
what does that mean?
So I mean, Mass Effect 2. I guess you're just like trying to do like the Paragon and the Renegade. Typically, when I went through, I ran through as a Paragon. So I just wanted to do everything good. I guess you say is the way to play it. But I want to play this one really as a Renegade. Like I never 100% did it as a Renegade. So I want to go through and do it that way for it. But I'm gonna play this thing multiple times. Like I don't know how many times I've beaten Mass Effect 2 and 3. Like I've done a couple different Paragon playthroughs, I guess, but I want to truly go through this on Renegade. I just never did it. Everyone gonna hate me, but I'm still gonna succeed.
I
have like 3 different Paragon playthroughs, and and one solid Renegade playthrough of all 3, and I started a FemShep run. And so now that FemShep is actually available from the beginning, that's what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to run through and do a FemShep run from the beginning.
I'm probably going to do both. Do my original one on Paragon and then do completely different opposite on a bad run, Nemesis run. I think that's what I'm going to do.
I'll dig it. I dig it. Oh, because of this Mass Effect, I lost my train of thought. You interrupted me, Sin. Because of our excitement about this, we have decided that tomorrow night through our Twitch stream, we're playing Mass Effect 3 360 style.
Yeah,
we're playing multiplayer.
Yeah,
we're playing a little earlier today, man. I got the itch back.
We was putting in that work, putting them down.
What? I got that itch back.
I told you it was right around the bike.
them Krogans, dog.
Big headed suckers.
Hey, them headbutts, bro. Them Joe strong.
Hey, them Allisons could not do nothing.
Not at all. It was so bad. All right, so listen, let's talk about this here, which we haven't talked about in quite a while. I mean, we bring them up every now and again when we start talking like Game Pass and xCloud and stuff like that. But so Stadia made the announcement that they are shutting down their internal studios. So aside from anything that is basically close to being done and coming out, they are no longer going to do any of that. And that also, they are trying to find placement jobs for everybody who was a part of those teams still within Google, which I think is phenomenal. It is super rare that you hear about studios shutting down or something like this and people are keeping their jobs. The only loss that was spoken of was Jade Raymond deciding to leave. I'm positive they would have offered her something and she probably could have found something. She decided to leave to go, see what else she can do. How y'all feel about this?
I mean, I like them helping out their employees. I think that's really dope. I think, but besides that, it just shows Stadia might have bit off more than they could chew.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is maybe putting the focus in trying to 100% fully getting the actual Stadia itself, up to par, getting it like with the Game Pass, like trying to get it to that standard before, let's make our own games. Let's try to tackle that side of things first. And you know what? Maybe a little bit down the road, if things pan out and things start working very well, maybe they'll go back, revisit, start to do those things again. But I mean, as long as they're able to get new jobs and things, it doesn't bother me as much.
I don't think so. I don't think they will ever make the attempt again to start up their own studios from the ground floor. And I'm gonna tell you why. So when Phil Harrison posted the statement to Stadia's website, what he said was that building like great game experiences from the ground up, basically he said it's too expensive. And he said that they've decided that rather than doing that, they decided to focus on, quote, building our own proven technology and deepening our business partnerships. Okay? So there are two things there that stand out to me. First, let me say they pointed to Cyberpunk 2077 as proof that the tech works. Okay? Which, for all intents and purposes, unless you bought Cyberpunk on PC and had a monster PC, Stadia had the best running version of Cyberpunk.
Right.
Period. It was done it was a port done specifically for Stadia and basically ran PC in the background. Mm-hmm. So there is something to be said for that.
Mm-hmm.
But it also probably showed that nobody cares. And I think it's because of that, and because sales should have been better and or higher across Stadia based on that information. It was like just a whisper. Like people said, oh yeah, it's actually running real good on Stadia.
Right.
And outside of that, it was shoulder shrugs. So now you need to refocus your business, because you actually really do need to be able to compete with consoles. Like, you came out of the gate and said consoles are dumb, they're done, you don't need them anymore. What we have has 10.4 teraflops. We're better than Xbox One, and we're better than PlayStation 4. Yeah, but you're not better than what they both have now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they have proven track records. That's why they're still around after all these years. To get somebody to jump onto Stadia right now, like, what the hell is Stadia? I got my Xbox, I got my PlayStation, I'm good.
And with that Xbox now, you got the cloud gaming. It's like, why would I even turn that way? Because their cloud gaming has taken off. It works. They're finally bridging into iOS fully. So if you were one of those like me who was on the fence about almost buying an Android phone because of that, you don't necessarily have to worry about that.
Only you would do that.
Hey,
target audience.
Target audience.
Yeah.
I'm lying. You're not the only one who would do that.
Yeah, but that was a feature that I wanted to be able to play. Like, I played Call of Duty on my phone, and it played phenomenally. And I was like, yo, this is going to be something for, like, if I'm going on vacation, going out somewhere, and just want to have it. It's cool.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. Again, a couple of things I want to read into that. Building on our proven technology and deepening our business partnership. So, one, that says to me, we need to go back to the drawing board and make sure that the tech that we're using to do this is able to consistently keep up with the tech that is currently out that's already better than what we have.
Right.
Which I think is part of the reason why Stadia released in the state that it did as early as it did. They knew that these systems were coming. We knew these systems were coming. And so their ability to jump out there, do a press conference and say, we have the most powerful platform and you don't even have to buy a console, was important.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. At the time. Because everybody was like, hey, this don't even really work that good. This isn't like, why are they rushing this out? This isn't quite like, they should have said we're doing a beta test. You know what I'm saying? Or something like this. Why are they actually charging people for this? And they had to step back and change things and rearrange things and whatever. So realistically, it says to me, sure, the tech works. Is the world and the internet ready for it? That's a whole different ball game. What do we have to do to step things up? What do we have to do to get ourselves in more homes and more houses in front of more people? We need to put our money and our marketing and into marketing and focus there.
Right.
The other thing that they said is deepening our partnership. So what that means is we need to take that money, and instead of spending it to try to make games with our own studios, we need to spend that money convincing people to release their games with us here. We need to go and purchase exclusivity rights.
Yep.
1 year exclusivity, 6 month exclusivity, in some way, shape, or form. We need something that says, buy it from us. You get more guns, you get DLC you don't get somewhere else, something that is a differentiator between all of the hordes and droves of people that are pushing this out. And I'm gonna say one more thing because we're gonna get into this. This is also an announcement that comes on the heels of last week's announcements of how well Microsoft did. Again, made enough money to buy Bethesda 2 more times over.
Yeah.
15 point some odd billion dollars, just the Xbox division, not Microsoft. And then Sony, who releases their numbers the day before this announcement comes from Stadia, and they did better than Microsoft did. Well, PlayStation did better than Xbox did.
Right.
Okay? What are you going to do, Stadia? This is also on the heels of Amazon making a statement with their new CEO, as Jeff Bezos has stepped down, responding to a statement in Reuters saying that Amazon Games is in trouble. Nope, we've had some step backs. We're still going to focus on doing games. We're still going to push games. Okay, Stadia, step it up.
Pretty much.
All of these are things that happened just before this statement was made.
Right.
So now we need to make a new direction. And so the other piece of that for me is we about to go headhunting. We are going out to buy studios. We are not building studios. We are deepening partnerships, and we are buying studios.
Let's give it to the people who's already out there creating them. That people, they got the names attached to them. People trust these people. Yep. All that kind of yeah. Put the money there.
And here's why I say that. Of the 4 companies, Sony, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, Google's in that top 3 in terms of revenue, margins, and cash assets. Sony's not there.
Right.
Okay. To have a company with as much money as Google say game development is too expensive and it takes too long. And again, that's the other part of it. It takes too long. It will take us years for these studios to build something that makes it worth it for people to buy it for our own personal exclusives. So we got the money. Let's go shopping. That's what that says to me.
Yeah.
All of this simply says we're not leaving. We're going shopping.
Make money, go shopping.
So on that, before we get into Sony's numbers, let's talk about going shopping. Gearbox got purchased. Y'all saw that?
I didn't see it.
You did not see that?
No, I did not see that.
So, Gearbox, makers of Borderlands.
Right.
And contributors to many other titles. Borderlands is probably the biggest thing that they're known for. 1, 2, and 3. So, Embracer Group, who is also the company that owns THQ Nordic, bought all of those assets and just continues to go and buy them and re-release stuff and redo stuff and put stuff out, right? They bought, hear me, Gearbox Entertainment for $1.3 billion. But that was the 3rd acquisition they made that day.
I think I missed
So
that.
listen to me for a second. Because here's the thing. Gearbox is just the only one you heard of. They also bought Asper Media. So again, technically, Embracer Group, you probably heard of Saber Interactive. They do all kinds of stuff. They got their hands on all kinds of stuff. Technically, Saber Interactive made the purchase of Asper Media for $100 million. Plus $300 million in possible bonuses. Okay. They also bought a mobile game maker called Easy Brain for $640 million. Jesus. Embracer Group is dropping Google,
that ain't no
Amazon, and Microsoft type money.
Yeah.
Bro, Ty, you're in the wrong line of business. Like, listen, Embracer Group, they're an investment group. They're an investment group. The thing about them is they don't actually do video games. Like, they don't know really anything about video games. They have just been diving in and picking up the assets. They have this money and they're going in and they're picking up the assets, and they have been very successful. They are a lot like Tencent, which is a Chinese investment group that has stake in almost every other company. Tencent bought the majority of PUBG. They own like 10% of Epic. They own like Tencent is out of control. They got crazy money and crazy control. So the fact that, again, these kinds of acquisitions are happening tells me Stadia getting ready to go shopping. They got to.
And gaming is only getting bigger.
They have to.
That's all it's going to do. It's going to keep getting bigger.
Yeah, the way they're dropping money around for studios and all this stuff, like gaming is not going anywhere. It's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. And
correct.
Yeah,
correct. Let's talk Sony's numbers. So Sony posted their best quarter in PlayStation history last quarter, which kind of makes sense. Their numbers state that they shipped 4.5 million PlayStation 5s. Considering how difficult they are to get, you might as well just say they actually sold that many. So a lot of times when companies release their numbers, when it comes to stuff like that, like total consoles and stuff like that, they have a shipped number and they have a sold number. So they only gave their shipped total, which is almost always higher than their sold total.
Right.
So that's why companies a lot of times will say they ship this many. And the reason why they use the ship number is because technically anything they shipped is paid for.
Right. Companies are selling them for. So.
Right.
So what that means is if Sony shipped 4.5 million PlayStations, Best Buy bought them, GameStop bought them, Target bought them, Walmart bought them. Like those companies have paid Sony for those units. However, sold through means that those companies then sold them. And so they are not units that Sony is going to get back that are unsold. And that's why they use the shipped number, because technically they can use it because they have been paid for them.
Right.
They did actually say in their statements that they are selling PlayStation 5s at a loss. Not surprising.
I saw that.
But you kind of have to say that when you're talking to your investors. But they saw a 40% revenue increase to the tune of $8.4 billion.
Jeez.
A lot of bees.
And they, did attribute a large portion of that to not really the PlayStation hardware, but like PlayStation Network, PlayStation Now, accessories, games. And that they are now able to sell. They sold through like 1.4 million PlayStation 4s, but they are now able to sell PlayStation 4s and make money on them, which again might be one of those reasons why you go, why are y'all leaving PlayStation 4 behind?
Yeah.
Well, now you're finally at a place where you can make money on them. You know what I mean? So
yeah, keep moving them out the door. Shoot,
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I was talking to you two earlier about feeling some kind of way about continuing to pay for PlayStation Network.
Yeah.
And and not getting the benefits that they give if you have a PlayStation 5.
Right.
Specifically, that they're not charging you anymore, but if you have a PlayStation 5, they have this special version of the program that allows you to play all these greatest hit PlayStation 4 games.
But nothing.
But if you have a PlayStation 4,
you don't.
Right, on the PlayStation
and you're
4,
paying the same thing, you don't get that.
Kind of bogus.
That's actually very bogus.
I have issues with that. I don't understand it.
No difference in price. Nothing. You just get it.
I mean, I do understand it. I mean, I get it. It is business, but it also seems like it wouldn't necessarily hurt you to make that a reason for people to go buy PlayStation 4s when you can make money on those. And they're already out there. It's tricky. I don't know, man. Like I feel like, again, all these announcements that we're hearing as they're reporting their numbers and kind of stating what they need to do to adjust or change their business, and so forth. They say it's 20 games that with nothing to play, they want people to feel like their PS5 was a good investment. I mean, listen, I hear you, but is it? Here's the funny thing about that. I feel like the majority of people who bought a PlayStation 5 are people who own PS4s and probably have the majority of those games.
Mm-hmm.
I'll agree with that.
You know what I mean? In some way.
Because not like it's anything new in there.
And again, they could give it to PS4 players, but they're just not. They just not. Oh, you want an old joint?
Nah.
No, sir.
Nah.
You want us to give you PlayStation 4 games on the PlayStation 4?
Nah.
Never.
Nah.
What type of sense does that make?
What? I don't get it, man. But I know this. Sony has something up their sleeve. Because we know that they've already announced or at least responded by saying they have something that they're working on in order to compete with Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, what do you think it is?
Game Pass.
I would say they
There's a straight carbon copy joint.
It's just gonna be blue.
But hey, that would be the
Well,
smart
I mean,
thing.
okay, hold on. Now, hold on. Having said that, realistically, do you think Sony will take their first party games and make them day and date in a subscription service?
I don't think they'll do that.
Then that's not Game Pass.
I think the thing is they need to copy the formula's there and the formula's working. But just like Sin said, them putting it for, I think they'll end up maybe doing some type of discount. It'll just be some sick discount, half off or something like that. But I don't think they're just gonna give it to people unless they decide to make their streaming service like just dumb, stupid in price. That would be.
I mean, look, let's be realistic. I mean, K, you telling the truth. A lot of those games were PlayStation Plus games at some point or something like that. Again, the big difference between PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold, which again we talked about last week, is probably going away, is that with Xbox Live Gold, the games that you can download for free, you actually get to keep
them.
if you leave Gold. So even if you only, let's say they say, like right now, if you don't have Game Pass, you can jump on, buy 1 month of Xbox Live Gold, get Gears of War 5 for free, just for paying for 1 month of Xbox Live Gold. And then you can let the joint expire.
Mm-hmm. It shows the key.
Buy a card, it's not tied to anything, let it expire, and you just got that game for free. And you can keep it, even if the joint's gone. PlayStation Plus, the minute your joint lapses, all them joints on your hard drive get the big lockbox on them, bro. You can't play these.
Play this. Resubscribe.
They're here, but you can't play them because you're no longer subscribed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a real thing. Like, Sony is letting you play games for free as long as you maintain a membership. Microsoft is actually giving you games. PlayStation Plus does not give you games. PlayStation Plus lets you play games for free as long as you're a member, which is a little bit more like Game Pass. You get to play these games for free as long as you're subscribed.
Yeah.
Right? So technically, Sony already has something like this in place. Between PlayStation Now, what PlayStation Network already is, the thing that they're missing more than anything else is day and date first party titles. And I'm going to tell you what, if Sony came out tomorrow and said, we're making a fake Game Pass, you get our games day and date first day, they would smash Game Pass. Smash them. Because Game Pass cannot compete with that. Because Sony's exclusives are better than Microsoft's exclusives. Period. Point blank.
Yeah, the internet would erupt.
The biggest thing that Microsoft has in terms of what they're offering of exclusive titles is that Microsoft seems to have spent more time focusing on making sure they had games that were multiplayer, because they came from that background of LAN parties, We were a PC thing first. Everybody gets together, hook your systems up. You could daisy chain Xboxes. Let's all get together, play Halo 2 together. So yes, there's a single player game, but it was the multiplayer that made that game what it is. Period. Right?
Yeah.
And they continued that. Here's Gears of War, but it is multiplayer through the story, and then it also has this multiplayer component that's also in it, and it's actually really, really, really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that they have leaned into more than anything else in terms of first party, right? Sony hasn't. Sony has leaned more into the single player arena
Right.
than anything else, okay? Which proved to be better for them, not just last generation, but last generation and the generation before that. And probably the thing that made that work for them 2 generations ago, 360 PS3, was the fact that PlayStation Network was free.
Mm-hmm.
And their system really wasn't designed for people to be playing big major multiplayer games on it. And Xbox Live, you had to pay for it. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. So if Sony says for $10 a month for the next 12 months, any PlayStation 5 exclusive that comes out, you get it day and date as long as you're subscribed. How does Microsoft compete with that?
I mean, they can't. They really can't because they're already doing that.
Like I said, they're just gonna stick with what they're doing. They
Exactly.
They're gonna stick with what they're doing.
So under that circumstance, does it mean that it is just Sony's hubris? We sold more consoles last time. We believe we're better. We know what we're doing. Blase, blase, blah. That's keeping them from doing it. Is it the same kind of like hubris that Nintendo has earned, but still drives me crazy? Where Nintendo like rarely ever drops the price of their games. Like this is a Nintendo game. We don't drop that joint got Mario face on it. We not that price isn't dropping.
Barely even on Black Friday. It's like,
that's what I'm saying. Like Nintendo just don't put their games.
Yeah, I never go to Nintendo looking for a sale. I just go to look to buy it straight out as it is. Just don't even think about it.
Not from them. Like if it's somebody else's game on there.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like the Nintendo stuff, the Mario, the Metroids, the Zeldas. Like I just give it to me.
Just get it.
No point of waiting for the
like
no point of waiting for a deal. Yeah. Maybe maybe it'll be on sale this weekend. No, just buy
it. If it
buy
goes on sale, it'll only be like $5, like $10.
Yeah.
That nice little discount on there. So
it's not gonna be worth the wait. Just do it.
So is it that Sony does it? Is there something to be said for the idea of, well, if we give the games away, right? Even if you're paying a subscription, if we give the games away, our games in some manner seem like they're not as good, like lowering the perception of it, right?
I can see them thinking that way too.
Does it?
I don't think it does.
No, not at all.
I mean, I feel like that's where Nintendo is. Like, I feel like Nintendo puts their foot in the ground and says, our games are so good. The quality of what we release, like, there's no bugs. There's no glitches.
No,
the Nintendo seal of quality actually does mean
something. They're solid when it comes to that. Yeah. They've earned that and they maintain that.
Nah, we don't do discounts. This game is just as fun now as it was 3 years ago. That's why we repackage it and we're selling it to you again on the Switch.
Again on the Switch.
And you're gonna buy it again.
And nothing extra.
We don't do discounts. We don't port our games back over. We know you bought it on the Wii, and then we made you buy it again on the Wii U. And if you want it again on the Switch, you gotta buy it again. We don't, and people just do it. They just do it. They don't even play them. They just do it. Right? Does Sony have that?
I don't think they quite have that. I mean,
I don't think they do.
The only thing they have is a super loyal fan base that will still go in certain these games. They probably will go and buy them over and over again, but I don't think they have it like Nintendo. The only games I would say, like, let's say in the PlayStation realm, that has done that for me has been like a Final Fantasy game. Like I've bought.
But that's not a PlayStation game.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's a Square Enix game.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's the only thing that I
even if it's exclusive. I mean, and I don't want to take away from what you're saying because there are Final Fantasy games that are absolutely exclusive to PlayStation. Like at least they were
at the time.
You know where they are now? They're in Game Pass.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. But yeah, at the time, like Final Fantasy X, I bought it on PS2 when it first came out. I bought it on PS3 when it came out. It came out on PS4. I bought it on PS4. And then at that point, they started to bridge them over to the Xbox. But it wasn't until now that really.
I mean, Cuddy, you're right. PlayStation does say, you know, look, get a second job, man. You know what I mean? Like but hold on, but Microsoft said the same thing. They did say that they said the exact same. Like if you don't like what we're doing with Xbox One, we got a system for you. It's called the Xbox 360. Came out of my man's mouth. Just like go get a second job when they released PlayStation 3. Go get another job.
I feel like saying that we have another console is a little bit better than saying go out and buy and get another job. I mean, I get this on the same paper, but
it is when I say it. But like in context, like when you're being asked, and like you're on your heels and in defense mode, that joint was literally like, we have a console for people who don't want DRM in their games. It's called Xbox 360. Word? That's how you feel? It's the same kind of thing, bro. Like,
right.
It's the same kind of thing. And you listen, and you know what? You're right, KB, because Nintendo not lying. They still stay. Let's see, Casey, I disagree. Sony, definitely not Nintendo, but people tweaking to get PS5 for no other reason than the exclusives. They have the cachet to not do day and date, although personally I disagree. And here's the thing. I think to a certain extent, you're right about that. However, hubris specifically is that you think you have it and you believe that because you have it, you can't lose it. Which is exactly what happened to Sony going from PlayStation 2 into PlayStation 3. Get another job.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We are that good. We about to sell you Blu-ray joints. I'll join Blu-ray.
Hey, that was...
And look, if Sony was as high and mighty as kind of like we're discussing, they wouldn't have changed a lot of the stuff they have over this past like year of way of doing things, of like cross-play, you know, that kind of stuff. Oh, these were just going to be on PlayStation 5? Wait a minute. No, let's put them on PlayStation 4 as well. Yeah. Like,
here's the thing.
Firm foot we had. Nope, taking that back up.
Yeah. Starting to ease up.
There is a lot of the regular buying public who never hears any of that kind of stuff. Never watch an E3. Never read an article about it. Never heard in a life that somebody at Sony, the head exec, said, you don't like how much it costs getting another job. They never heard that. Mm-hmm. They don't know that. You know what I mean? Like, but those moves that they're making, when they were refusing, like the people who are just like playing Minecraft on PlayStation, because that's the system they have, wasn't watching E3. They don't even necessarily know everybody else can play together except Sony. There's so many people who have no idea that that's a thing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, So moves that Sony makes that really are them eating pie, you know what I mean? For being the jerks in the room, for having that hubris, whatever, like slowly but surely, yeah, they're having to back down on them because the industry is changing. And their refusal to change with the industry is causing them a problem. So really, to me, yes, it's hubris, but it is also them trying to put their foot down and say, no, this is our industry and we're in control of how the industry works and moves forward. It's not going to stay that way because it can't. Because Stadia, because Luna, because xCloud, because everybody else has more money than Sony does.
Yeah, it's so many people in the game now. Like it, things are going to change with time.
If they do, there's no doubt at all that Sony does have leverage. Sony has, but what's the other big announcement that came this week? MLB The Show.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about that for I don't know how long.
It's exclusive Sony title coming to Xbox.
Yep. We've been saying that for a very long time now. That eventually that was going to happen. It's just going to be a big old Sony Studios logo in front of when you boot up on your Xbox and see that don't play.
All of the again, Sony does get a pass. There's no two ways about it. Sony can do things that are exactly the same as what Microsoft does, and people hold Microsoft's feet to the fire for the exact same thing. Like, I don't know, charging you to have to play games online.
Yeah.
People wrote that.
Everybody just forgot that. That was the biggest reason for anybody who was a PlayStation 3 head. It's free to play online. That's stupid for playing online till they all the information got stolen. And the joint was down for like a month and a half.
It was something stupid.
And then when the PlayStation 4 dropped, and they was like, "Oh, by the way, you got to pay now."
Yep. And what?
Everybody just let it go.
Yeah, like I don't hear nothing anymore.
They just let it go, right?
Yeah,
so Sony does get away with being behind on those kinds of things, and then jumping in. They had a PlayStation TV. They absolutely did a PlayStation TV. When they released a PlayStation 3. And that joint was 3D. It had two 3D screens and two separate people could watch at the same time.
I had it. It was kind of cool.
They definitely did that joint. We definitely sold them joints at Best Buy, and the only person who bought one is on this show with me right now.
But here's the thing, though. You know when I got that joint was when they said they were going to discontinue that joint,
and it was dumb cheap.
And they slashed that joint like by half. I was like, oh, I'll gladly take one of those now.
Here's the thing. Sony doesn't even really make TVs anymore. They sold their TV business years ago. The Bravia engine is still theirs. There are still TVs that have Sony's name on them, but they don't make them. That's what it is. Every other category that Sony is in, probably with the exception of DSLRs, like cameras, they are floundering. I mean, they were just bleeding money. They're doing better than they used to be. But PlayStation is really the only thing that brings in money for them hand over fist. They are essentially using PlayStation to finance everything else they do. That's the way I see it. I definitely feel like Sony has a strange upper hand that they're not playing, but they could very easily. I think that there are some infrastructure things they must be in the need of getting in place before they do something like what it is they're talking about doing. I also feel like they want to be in a position where PlayStation 5s are way more readily available because they don't want to continue to sell PlayStation 4s. They do want to actually have a division between what the old generation is and the new generation is. And if they announce some sort of Game Pass-like system, and that is not something that people who have PlayStation 4s can utilize, it's only PlayStation 5, it will make people angry. It will drive people to Microsoft. It will make people play Game Pass on their phone and use xCloud and whatever else. It absolutely will. So I think right now, even if they have something that they feel like is ready to go, they're not doing it because either they have to be super careful about how they message it, or they need to make sure that
there's more PS5s out there
available.
Yeah.
And based on the earnings call from earlier this week, they're saying they don't expect people to be able to like walk into a store and get PlayStation 5s until probably third quarter. Microsoft is saying Xboxes probably by July, which again, I personally know people who have been able to walk in and get a Series S. So I think a lot of it is just where it's going to land. But the landscape is so different now. And I think Sony also is going to do some headhunting. Sony will buy new studios. They have to. They have to. Because with the kind of money that Microsoft has, and they've already said, we're still headhunting, and we are Microsoft has said that they are intending to make purchases like the last one they made. We're not looking for a studio. We're looking for several.
Right.
Like there were rumors on the table that Microsoft was looking to buy Embracer Group. I don't think that happens. Okay. But can you imagine if they put enough money forward and say, everything that THQ Nordic drops, everything that Embracer Group does goes into Game Pass day one. If they do that deal with Ubisoft, that says all Ubisoft games or Ubisoft Connect now is part of.
It's a part of Game Pass.
Game Pass.
Yeah.
And or you can play a little more. You can pay a little more, right? How long did it take for Sony to get on board with EA Play?
Took
What
a
it
minute.
is now. It's not what it was. How long did it take?
Took them a minute.
7 years? 6 years or so?
A minute, yeah.
You know what I mean? Again, that's the direction that it's going, right? Almost any game you play now, for whatever reason, you log into the game, you're logged into your PlayStation account or your Xbox Live account, and then when you load up the game, they still want you to sign up for an account with them.
Yeah.
Because data is king. And they want your data. They want your data. They want your play data. They want to know how you're playing, what you're doing, what you're spending money on, what you're not, right? They want to know what your propensities to spend are. If we put this in front of them, they'll buy this. There are algorithms that are in place in games, it's a fact, that are designed to look at what pieces of armor you pick up as a player and put those pieces of armor in front of you. And then put pieces of armor or make them harder for you to get so that you'll buy DLC that will give you that kind of stuff. Like that, it already exists. It already exists. So owning the data is the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. We talked last week about PlayFab for Microsoft. They actually did this week on Major Nelson's show. They brought on multiple game developers who use PlayFab and talked about using PlayFab on his show. I've never heard anything like that before, where a company owns something that works with games behind the scenes, including games that are not on their platform.
Interesting.
Like, not on their platform at all. Like, not like it's on multiple platforms, including theirs. Not on their platform at all, including mobile. Using PlayFab, which Microsoft purchased 3 years ago. They are celebrating their 3-year anniversary as a Microsoft company this week. You've never heard of them.
Nope.
They've been behind the scenes. You play Division, you've been on GameFab. You play Minecraft, you've been on GameFab.
Right.
Like, that's what it is. It's those acquisitions and things like that behind the scenes that are going to make the difference in everything.
Oh,
it wouldn't surprise me at all if Microsoft almost doesn't care if Sony's name is more synonymous with what you think of when you think of console gaming, because console gaming is only going to be able to sustain itself for but so long. There will always be a place for it, as long as people don't want to spend the kind of money you have to spend to buy a PC.
Right.
However, if Stadia, because here's the other thing, and then we're going to close out, because I want to play some Mass Effect 3. That multiplayer, though, that thing. Listen, bear in mind that xCloud, as well as it works right now, all of it, and I mean all of it, runs on Xbox One tech, not Xbox Series tech.
Yeah.
What happens when they start to switch that out? Even if they only switch it to Xbox Series S tech versus Series X tech. And believe you me, they already working on it. Trust me.
Oh yeah, because it's the way it's the future. The whole streaming thing is the future. They're gonna keep behind the scenes updating and getting it together, and like you said, throwing this new technology in it from when they
because these games are going to get more demanding, so they got to make sure that cloud service is going to be able to push it. Like
MLB says 5G
cloud games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hitman 3, you can buy it on the Switch, play it in the cloud. It's garbage, but you can.
It just shows the way the industry is going.
You can buy it on the Switch, you can play it in the cloud. Garbage. But you can. And Nintendo don't do nothing technologically advanced. Ever. They're the worst. If they're doing it, even they see it.
Yeah.
So what's Sony doing? They made a deal with Microsoft to use Azure, to use cloud services. So again,
there's something they are working on behind the scenes. It's just like you said, it's the wording of how to put it out, or wait till more PS5s are in the wild before we put it out to the people.
There was a time when we talked like a couple weeks ago, and it was like Xbox actually tried to buy Nintendo, which is like the dumbest thing, right? But like, of these companies, Microsoft is the one company who has had their back against the wall multiple times for being considered a monopoly. It is actually important for Microsoft to keep other companies in business. Mm-hmm. It makes sense for them to do things that allow Sony to exist so that they're not seen as a monopoly in the business. It's a real thing. That's how it works. Phil Spencer came out and said, you know what? We need Nintendo. We need them. They make games that get kids involved in games, and then they grow up to be the kind of gamers that play on our stuff.
Right.
We need them. We need Sony. They push us. They blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, you need them. So you're not a monopoly. Because you could just buy them.
Yeah. But you don't do
competition, healthy, nothing wrong with healthy competition.
Exactly. But how healthy is it if on the back end you run all that stuff? And keep in mind that as other major players begin to jump in, like your Google and like your Amazon, so now you don't just have 3. You don't just have 2. You got 4 or 5. Well, you can gobble somebody else up if you really want to. You can make it so that their infrastructure and what they only exists because you allow it to. Mm-hmm. Because most of the people would never know.
Very true.
Try to listen. Why is there actually a Lexus and a Toyota? Why?
More money.
Why is there a Whirlpool and a Maytag? I sell appliances. Whirlpool owns Maytag. A lot of people don't know it. But they bought them like a decade ago. But why not just make all the Maytag? Why not just get rid of them and just be like, nah. We're all Whirlpool. Nah, because there are people who are like, I don't want a Whirlpool. I want a Maytag.
You keep that
straight up because people are dumb.
Yeah, they're just buying from you straight up. Still, it's like eventually, maybe some people find out eventually.
Put a different little look on the Maytags to make it look different, but inside it's going to say, it's in the parts inside.
Just change the logo.
Real talk. Real talk.
Pretty much all the internal
TVs. They've been making TVs forever, right? So with Sony, who was making Sony screens? Samsung. You keeping us in business? We keeping you in business. Who made the screens in the PSP? Samsung. That's how it works.
Right. But it's not common knowledge to the people out there, so they don't know. They just...
You read the Washington Post?
No.
You ever look at their articles?
No.
You trust them at all? When you hear the Washington Post, like that sounds like a...
I mean, it's a reputable news source, I guess.
Yeah. You know who owns them?
Nope.
Don't say Samsung.
Hey, that would be fire. Nah, dog. Amazon.
Oh, I never knew that. Now that...
Bezos.
Okay.
It doesn't matter like what's happening on the back end behind the scenes. Like people don't care. They just like, I like to watch the Post. They're reputable.
Right.
Like they're, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. They don't realize how many ads are Amazon directed in their joint.
Right.
And you might as well, right? Because as a newspaper, you begin to realize you can't hit people by continuing to actually push out paper products to people. You need to be on the internet. Well, how do we do that? I guess we got to pay Amazon Web Services because they own half the internet. So Amazon says, we were responsible for turning paper into digital. That's who we are. We Amazon.
Facts.
Just buy the newspaper.
Crazy.
Straight up. So again, 10 years from now, there could still be a Sony, still be a PlayStation, and it might be owned by Microsoft. You wouldn't know. We might know.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? if Microsoft actually goes and buys Sega, like people are talking about, I don't know if y'all seen the rumors I'm seeing. But bear in mind, I can look at my Dreamcast right now. I can see it and see the Windows logo on that thing. It's on there. Windows CE. Built inside, bro. We've been at it for a long time. You know what I'm saying? All the Sega games was exclusive to the original Xbox. Like, that's a real thing for a long time. But we're not interested in just putting your games on Xbox. We'll put them wherever we want to buy them. We'll put Game Pass on anything you want it on.
Maybe that's why all them Yakuzas are now coming over to Game Pass.
Hey, dog, listen. They talking that talk. I'm not.
Flagship game right now. So
what did they just say? Didn't they just say Judgment getting ready to come?
Yep.
Judgment about to drop. Yep, another fire joint. So I think it is something to those rumors.
Could be, right?
Yeah.
It's hard. It's much harder for an American company to buy a Japanese company because of the way the law works there. But if you're Microsoft, Microsoft has a Japanese division that is set up as a business in Japan that technically could buy a Japanese company.
Right.
It's a loophole for everything.
Yeah.
Facts.
It's a loophole for everything. It's just what it is. Man, listen. We can do this all day. But that Mass Effect multiplayer calling my whole name, my whole government. First, middle, and last.
We got to put in some work on some dudes.
My whole joint. So listen, Sin, you got a job to do. If you would, please.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dorch, and Tyrone Carson. Thank you much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
I agree. Don't you got a job to do? And while you're doing your job, I just want to know if anybody else thinks that instead of Nintendo, I keep hearing Switch Pro rumor. Anybody think they just gonna call that joint the Super Nintendo Switch?
Oh God! If they release it, it's just gonna be
Hold up. The vision in my head thinking about it, I don't like the name, but having that gray with the purple buttons on it, and hey, that thing would be fire. I will pre-order that day one.
Like if it ain't the
that would be so fire.
Called the new Switch, or I doubt they would go say Super Switch. I mean,
no. Make that whole thing the color of the Super Nintendo
Switch, dog.
Do that. Oh my gosh.
That joint will be fire. Hey, look, so for anybody who's still in there with us, man, make sure y'all hit our link tree up. That will just show you everywhere that you can go to follow us everywhere that we are. We are all over the internet. We're on all your socials. We TikToking, we Instagramming, all of that jazz. We are doing what we can to try to help support and show off some Black creators during Black History Month. So if you stay tuned on our Instagram, I'm trying to feature somebody every day. Just to kind of show some love, get folks out there to support Black creators. We greatly appreciate it. Next week, we're going to have Tuesday's normal weekly show is going to be Wednesday. We're going to have a special guest, gentleman by the name of Harry Crossland, a great photographer, great cosplayer, is going to join us for that. So make sure you tune in for that on Wednesday. And then 2 weeks out, we're going to do something a little bit different for weekly on Tuesday. We're going to have several special guests come in to do sort of like a Black History program kind of a thing. Henry Brooks, who some of y'all saw in the comments, I'm sure, along with a good friend of ours, Magic Mike Kelly, who's a dope artist. Another friend of ours who tends to be in our comments, named Ty, who maybe isn't there. I know he just got a new job, and congratulations on that if you are listening.
Oh, yeah.
Is going to join us, as well as the two gentlemen who are responsible. You probably heard us talk many times about the Tuskegee Heirs. And so Greg and Marcus will be joining us from them, at least them. I don't know if we'll have anybody else. I might have a surprise or two tucked in somewhere. It's totally possible. Tomorrow night, Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, 8 o'clock on Twitch. Come join us, we appreciate it.
Going down.
Next week, I think we're gonna have a curveball for a weekly.
All right.
It's been a while. It's a whole new year.
He already thinking about it this far out already.
It could just be that I just didn't give it to you this week. Hey, Doc, you doing a Valentine's Day? Say, hey, listen, forward anything to me. I'll push it to Instagram. I actually, all right, here's the thing. I actually already have you listed.
Yes, it is.
As
Okay.
one of my black
Certainly on
creators.
Game Pass.
Yes,
And
ME3 is on Game Pass.
All three.
It
Mass
is.
Effects.
And you have to go download all the DLC.
Get all the DLC.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Just get
you don't have the
all-
DLC, you can't play together.
Yeah.
How they do? Doc, do me a favor and forward me anything that you want me to put up. I actually already have you listed as one of my black creators that I want to have people go support. But since you're doing something specific for Valentine's Day, if you would tag me in something or forward, then I will make sure that goes out sooner instead of later, so folks can have a chance to take advantage of that right away. Greatly appreciate it.
And also, while we're talking about Valentine's Day, the second episode for my Valentine's Day Anime miniseries dropped today. Recovery of an MMO junkie. So the gamers in the chat or whatever, y'all might enjoy that one. So check it out. And the next one will be dropping next Tuesday. Yep, next Tuesday, which is Say I Love You. That's next Tuesday.
If it won't send it, I mean, you know how to get me directly. Just send it to me directly or tag me directly in Instagram so I can post it at least to everything in Instagram, including in stories and also on FB. And that way, everybody who's following or whatever will be able to see it there as well. Cool?
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right. So for jokes and for sin, I'm Gage. This has been Cutscenes, and we're out. Toodles and loos. What it do, snackers and snackettes? Did you like what you just saw? Would you like to help us grow? Here's what you can do. Shoot over to patreon.com/loading snacks. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on your favorite platform of choice. Appreciate you.